Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a very exciting collaboration video with one of my best friends here on YouTube. Amy loves makeup. So if you guys don't know who Amy is, she's awesome. She is a lover of indie makeup and she is all about indie reviews. So if you are getting into indie makeup or if you're a seasoned veteran like Amy is, you're definitely going to want to check out her channel because she's going to have a ton of content for you guys that love indie makeup. So Amy asked me to do this collaboration with her. We are going to talk about 10 palettes that remind us of fall. I definitely have more than 10. I might have cheated. I'm sorry, Amy. It is what it is. I could have probably done 20 palettes actually. Once I started pulling palettes, I was like, uh-oh. Oh well, it is what it is. I am hoping though that we don't have too much overlap. We do have some of the same palettes and I could totally see Amy pulling some of the same things. So hopefully she goes more indie, which means I'm going to balance her out with some more mainstream launches as well. Without further blabbering, if you are new to my channel, hello, my name is Karen Harris. Thank you for joining me today. I love to talk about tan girl friendly makeup here on YouTube. When I first started watching YouTube, I had such a tough time finding reviews and swatches from people with skin tones like mine. So I decided to take it upon myself and create my own YouTube channel. So I talk a lot about tan girl friendly makeup and I upload every other day so you do get quite a bit of content from me. I hope you will consider subscribing so you can keep up with me. Now let's get into 10 palettes that I think are perfect for fall. Okay guys, so here we go. First one is Autumn Rain by Sydney Grace. Now, Sydney Grace just did a new palette with Mel Thompson and it's a gorgeous palette. It's called the Tiny Marvels palette, but this is their OG eyeshadow palette. This is the first one they ever did and it is called Autumn Rain. And of course I had to feature this in a video about fall themed palettes. I love this because it's got some neutral mattes, but it's got some beautiful metallics that are jewel tone. And for some reason, fall time, autumn time, the leaves changing, it all reminds me of jewel tone eyeshadows. And that's kind of what I got here. It's 10 palettes that have shades like this. So if that's not for you, you probably don't want to watch this video, but this is like my kind of stuff. So I just love these metallics. They are so incredibly pigmented. You can do a beautiful sunset eye. You can do some beautiful grungy metallic toned looks with this palette. And we all know and love Sydney Grace. I know you guys have been hearing so many good things about the brand, especially because so many influencers are trying Sydney Grace too because Mel Thompson's palette is out. But look at these swatches and how quickly they just swiped on my arm. These are so stunning and you can create so many gorgeous looks with the Sydney Grace palette. So I do have a code for Sydney Grace. It is not affiliated. You just get a discount when you use it. It's KH Makeup. And I would suggest checking this out if you are interested in this palette. Okay, so I'm gonna do one indie, one mainstream just to kind of keep things going. And I decided for my next palette to talk about this one from Jackie Aina and ABH. Now, I think you can still get this palette. It is, I think, still available. If I can find it, I will link it down below so you guys can purchase it. This palette is so beautiful and it has such a beautiful color story for fall again. For me, shades like this and this bright red shade, these grungy greens all remind me so much of fall. And I feel like Jackie Aina kind of tailored this palette for women with darker skin tones, but I've also seen women with lighter skin tones wear this palette and wear the heck out of it. Like, it looks so good on all skin tones. And of course, ABH eyeshadow formula is one of my favorite formulas in the market. And typically ABH palettes are easy to find. I know so many people were begging ABH to make this a permanent palette. Hey, it could still happen, but I do think this is still available. This packaging is gorgeous. I don't get enough use out of this palette, but let me tell you, it is another stunning palette from Anastasia from 2019. Okay, so my next pick is indie and it is the Juicy Olive palette from Give Me Glow. This one is a smaller color story, but both me and Amy love green eyeshadows. We love grungy greens, we like Kelly greens, we like pukey greens, all the things. The olive greens, we like it all. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw this in Amy's video, but I had to give it my own shout out because it is a monochromatic palette, so you're not going to get the most interesting looks out of it, but dang, the few looks you can do, like the few versions of a green eyeshadow look you do with this, are going to be stunning. The mattes are beautiful. The shimmers are so pigmented, and I just love this color story so much. So of course I had to mention the Juicy Olive palette for one of my favorite fall palettes. Okay, so we're gonna go back to mainstream, and I decided to talk about one of my favorite Pat McGrath palettes. This is the Bronze Seduction from Pat McGrath, and the reason I chose this one again is because I'm a sucker for some bright red tones and some bronzy tones in the fall time. I just think this palette is so stunning. I can even see you guys wearing this like on Christmas Day, on New Year's Eve. Like, it's such a beautiful palette. This is like one of my favorite Pat McGrath palettes. I still want to rank my Pat McGrath palettes. I haven't gotten around to it, but did you see those shades? I mean, there's so much dimension, texture, shimmer. There's some great mattes in here for deepening things up for the fall and winter time. You guys know I'm a big Pat McGrath fan, so of course I had to mention this guy in the video. Okay, next we're gonna ping pong back into indie, and we have the Melt Gemini palette. Is anybody surprised that I'm talking about the Melt Gemini palette? This one was sent to me by a wonderful subscriber. I'm so grateful. I wasn't planning on picking this up myself, and I had heard like hit or miss things about the original few, but I think they've sorted out their problems with their formulas, which is really nice because Melt does have some of the most interesting color stories on the beauty scene, in my opinion, and this palette is no exception. It's got those beautiful warm shades for if you want to do just like a neutral eye, or those beautiful grungy green shades if you want to do a grungy green eye. I just love this palette so much. Could not recommend it enough for you guys that are into this type of color story. Okay, there's a lot of Natasha Denona in this video, I'm not gonna lie, but every time I think of fall and Natasha, of course, I think of my beloved gold palette. This is so beautiful, and again, I love this one for the same reason as the Bronze Seduction. It has a very interesting color story. It is grungy. It's got those beautiful shades that are really statement colors. So for example, Lime Chrome, I know this is one of Amy's favorite eyeshadows, I think, in existence. She's been trying to dupe it for quite some time. It has a beautiful golden red tone with a flip, and then they have these beautiful textured shadows. I love this blue metallic shadow in this palette, so it's just a really gorgeous palette. It's very expensive, so do keep that in mind, but I know Alter Ego has a decent dupe of this palette, so you could consider that, but oh my gosh, the original is the best. And I recently picked up Scarab from Natasha Denona. This is one of her chromium liquid eyeshadows. I've tried this out once with the Metropolis palette, and I really want to pair these two together, so definitely stay tuned for an eye look with these two or this with the Metropolis. I haven't quite decided yet, but oh my gosh, if you guys haven't seen these, this is the one everyone seems to love, so I just wanted to mention that I did have that, and I'm definitely planning on doing a video with it because it's too gorgeous. It's too gorgeous. Okay, so now hopping back to indie, I had to mention the Moonspell palette by Lunar Beauty. Rumor has it that he is planning a new palette for fall, so I'm excited to see it, but this palette, oh my gosh, packaging alone is amazing. It kind of came out around Halloween last year, and listen, it is such a beautiful color story. Again, those grungy greens, beautiful purple row, and then a neutral row here in the middle. My favorite thing, of course, about Lunar Beauty's eyeshadows are his metallics. Oh my gosh, they are so beautiful. Oh my god, look at that green. I need to use this more. But I just love them so much, so I'm so happy I have it. If you guys have this palette, definitely feel free to use it and let me know, tag me in your Instagram post, because I think it is absolutely stunning. Do not regret picking this up. I have most of his newer palettes. I was gonna get his blush palette, but I have been buying blushes like it's my job, like my life depended on it, so I've been trying to slow it down a little bit, so I'm going to pass on his blush palette, but I'm so excited to see what Lunar Beauty comes out with next as far as eyeshadow goes, because I have a feeling it's going to be really good. Okay, so for my next mainstream, you guys didn't think I was going to get through this video without mentioning my baby. This is my favorite Natasha Denona palette. This is the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. Oh my goodness. Alter Ego did just do a dupe for this palette, but listen, the OG is still the best in my opinion. I love this palette. I just used this the other day with the shade Scarab that I mentioned when I was talking about the gold palette, and the look turned out gorgeous. I also saw Natasha Denona use Scarab with some of the blue shades, so I need to recreate that look as well, but I love this palette. I have such good memories attached to this palette. I took it with me to New York when I met Angie and Amy. I took it with me to my friend's wedding in Arizona. This palette has great sentimental value. It's amazing. Again, it's another very expensive palette, but I don't regret it. I don't regret a thing with my Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath purchases. You can come for me if you want, but ain't no shame to my game is all I gotta say about that. Okay, so the next palette is another indie. Did you guys see it? Did you guys know what it is? It is the Safari Rain palette by Coloured Rain. Now, me and Coloured Rain are going through a little bit of a rough patch. The Juicy Boost palette kind of shook me, but listen, I always will have Safari Rain and the good memories that are attached to this palette. This did restock one last time, sometime a few months ago, a few weeks ago, I can't quite remember, and some of you were able to grab this, and I'm so happy for you. I don't think this is currently in stock. I don't think this is gonna come back, but for the people that have it, they know what a great palette this is. I have done a few looks with this palette on camera as well as off camera. If you want to see the video, it should be somewhere in my YouTube library, but I'm so glad I have this palette. I can hold on to it and think of how good the Coloured Rain formula used to be before they changed it, because they changed it and it is what it is, but oh, this one is so good. If you can find this, if you can buy this on Poshmark, get it. I don't think you would regret it, honestly. Okay guys, so I talked about 9 palettes and 10 and 11 are newer palettes, so take this with a grain of salt. I haven't tested them out fully, but these are very recent makeup launches, and I feel like they're worth a mention because I thought they were really good based off of first impressions. I will link both the videos I did on each of these palettes up in the cards in case you guys are interested in seeing the eyeshadow looks I created with them. One of them I'm wearing on my eyes today, but before I talk about that one, let me talk really quick about the Sigma Untamed palette. You guys know me and Sigma, we are in a very happy, loving relationship. At first, I was like, you know what, Sigma? I'm not really sure about you, but I tried the Corte Rosa palette. I loved it. Then I bought the Sigma Enchanted palette. And then when I saw that they were coming out with the Untamed palette, I literally lost my mind. And then I was able to purchase this with a really good coupon code. So I did pick it up, and it is so good. It's so good. I love it so much. I got so lucky with this palette because I think I had one of the first videos reviewing this palette, and Sigma actually commented on it. They even shared it on their Twitter, and the owner of Sigma actually commented on my video. So I'm just thrilled. Sigma is actually a brand based in Minnesota, and if you guys don't know, I live in North Dakota. Minnesota is our neighboring state. I basically feel like I live in Minnesota sometimes because we're very close to the border, and so I'm just so proud. I'm just so proud of this palette. I love it so much. It's so good. It's so good. This grungy shade called Boho Camouflage, like the mattes in here are fire. The shimmers are nice. This is such a cool palette, especially if you're not really into like wild color stories. I feel like fall is the time because those pops of color are still muted enough where if you don't like to wear a ton of color, if you don't like bright eyeshadows, it is your time to thrive during fall. So I'm so excited that I have this. I cannot wait to play with this more. It's such a great fall palette, and I'm so happy that it was from Sigma because I love the color story. It's like an updated version of fall for me, and I love it. I love it so much. You're amazing. I love you. I'm so glad we're together. Okay guys, so last and certainly not least, and this one really take it with a grain of salt because the day I'm filming this video is the first time I tried this palette. I literally bought this palette today, and I'm gonna say that Amy's gonna be a little shook that I included this palette in my video, but it is the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette, and you guys can shame me all you want, but I was so attracted to this color story, and as soon as I saw that it was gonna be available at my Ulta today. I like ran my little butt over there and I grabbed it. Plus I had a $10 off coupon, so I was able to get this at a steal of a price. And I am wearing this palette on my eyeballs today. I really like it. I think it's such a great palette. The other thing is it is easily accessible. You can't swatch it in store, but you can go to Ulta and look at it. That's where I found it. I'm sure Sephora will have it in store as well. My Ulta is actually a little bit bigger than my Sephora store, so I do like to go into my Ulta store. And I was so happy that they had this there, and I'm so happy it came home with me. This is the quintessential fall palette. It's got some beautiful orange shades. You can do a beautiful sunset eye look. You can do a beautiful purple eye look if you're into purples. And this whole row, you can create a grungy green eyeshadow look. So today I'm wearing this shade called Fall Vibes on my lid. I have this shade called Spice of Life on my outer corner. I don't really wear a lot of green and purple on my eyes at the same time, but I really like the look. It is so fun. So excited about having a Too Faced palette and also really enjoying a Too Faced palette. Doesn't happen very often, so I definitely wanted to include that in this video. So friends, that is it for this video. Let me know what palettes remind you of fall. Let me know what was your favorite palette I mentioned today. You guys know I love talking to you in the comment section. Like I had mentioned, this video is a collaboration with my dear friend Amy Loves Makeup, so if you haven't checked her out yet, I will leave her channel, her Instagram, as well as her video down in my description box. Please go ahead and tell her hi, say Karen Harris sent you. You guys know I love her so much. So thank you, Amy, for having me. Thank you guys so much for watching, for always supporting the Makeup Savage fam. I will see you guys in my next video soon. Bye!